Welcome back to the vlog and welcome back to Moonbill, Papua New Guinea. My name is Ryan. We're heading back to Goroka today on an hour and 40-minute flight. So let's go ahead and get started. Igniter's on, fuel pump on, and low start. All right, we're up over 20% NG right now, so we'll introduce our fuel. ITT is coming up as normal and peaks out at 688. So once the ITT starts dropping off, then you know your start's done. All right, generator on, we'll let the amps jump up over 100 and then start on our way down. Then we'll throw our alternator on, prop forward, and our V2 tracker on. All right, I'm just gonna go ahead and try to get SAR once we get up in the air, search and rescue, because I just tried to cancel my SAR just a minute ago when I landed and I was not able to get a hold of anybody. So once we are going up, like I said, we're going to be climbing up at 17,000 today on our way back to Goroka just to conserve fuel and so that I can actually make it because I have my minimum fuel at 17,000. So if the clouds allow me to, that's what I will do. All right, let's go to the top so my fuel is not draining. Really muddy out today. It's been raining for the past 3 days out here at Moonbill, and today is their first nice day. So thankfully, today was the day I had to come out here, because yesterday there was like a 100-mile thunderstorm out in the Sepik, and I had to fly around it a couple of times yesterday on some flights, but thankfully didn't have to come out this way. Yeah, this airstrip is really rough and really soft in areas. It's crazy how rocky and hard it is, but then in other areas it's like super soft. All right, let's go ahead and do our pre-takeoff. Fuel caps and selectors are good. Our controls are all good. Turn our train awareness system off, Betty off for takeoff. Our switches and instruments were empty today going back, so we're 5,500 pounds. Rotate at 55 and 65 if we had to come back in. 64, I should say. I already got 17,000 feet in. Ops are set at 20, indicated and verified at 20. Our trim, our setup. If we are not, oh, I've got two dogs out there playing around. Come on guys, just scared dump dogs off. Anyways, if I am not 50 knots, or correction, yeah, 40 knots by, there they go. Apparently a lot of dogs out here. If I'm not 40 knots by the taxiway, or the parking bay I should say, then I'm going to go ahead and abort. If we do need to board, I'm just going to continue straight ahead and then, yeah, continue straight all the way off the end if I have to. Full reverse, heavy braking, cut off, pull off, and shut off if we're going off. After takeoff, pitch for 85 knots, consider EPL. Consider feather. Do left-hand turn to lower terrain. 80 full flaps closer to the ground, cut off, pull off, and shut off. Masters off, emergency button, crack my door. All right, ignition inlet and lights are done. We'll do SAR once we're in the air. We're 27 degrees at 3,000. 1370 for 1420. Ignition condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses, and there's no dogs on the runway. All right, checklist complete. Rotate 55, 1370. All right, airspeed's alive, continuing. There's 50 and 54. Barely airborne. Get my nose over, get my speed up to 73 and climb out. We'll bring our ITT right up to 740, the top of the green. I'm out at 73 knots, so I can get up over these mountains and get turned up my way. Actually, almost behind me is where I need to go. Oh, I don't think I've ever got out of here this fast. I've got a little bit of a headwind, I think, today. Not much, 2 knots, but that's pretty crazy. I can get over this hill this soon. So it looks like it's a really nice day, which is really great because I've had to deal with crummy weather all week long. I haven't got to film any of it because I had passengers the whole time. But this is the end of my week, and it's a beautiful day, and I'm really thankful that I don't have to think anymore for this week. All right, we'll pitch over to 85 knots and increasing. Now that we're almost on track, over 85, we'll go 10 degrees of flaps. The nose is going to want to kind of fall over a little bit, so you just give it a little bit of back pressure. And also, we don't need quite as much right rudder pressure. Now we're over 100, so we'll go 0 degrees. A little bit of that right rudder pressure back out of there because I have full right rudder trim. And then we'll also bring our prop back to 2,000 RPM. And we're going to climb out at 100 knots today just because 99 knots is the best rate of climb. So you're going to get as much altitude, the most amount of altitude in the shortest amount of time, okay? So I want to get up to my 17,000 as quickly as possible so that I'm conserving fuel because I do have my minimum amount of fuel that I can take back to Goroka. And I want to be able to conserve as much fuel as I possibly can. So rather than doing a cruise climb at like 115 knots, we're going to climb up at 100 knots so that I can use my autopilot. Because 100 knots is the slowest we can fly with the autopilot. And some of you guys were asking, like, why is it 100 knots? It's just because as you start getting below 100 knots, all of your movements are going to be a lot bigger. Just because the airplane's slower, and so all of your movements to make the same amount of adjustments are more exaggerated. So basically the motors are just going like the full way all the time and constantly running to try to keep up with the airplane. So that's why it's set at 100 knots. All right, we'll go ahead and just pull out my oxygen. This is not a pressurized airplane, so I have to wear oxygen. Here in Papua New Guinea, anytime we're over 10,000 feet for more than a half an hour, we have to throw on oxygen. It's a little bit different than the States. I think the States is like 12.5 or something. But yeah, that's all right. Oxygen is a lot cheaper than fuel. So I have this little regulator here, and I turn it up. I usually put it up a little bit higher than what it actually, like if I'm going at 17, I'll usually put it at 18 or 19. Because I think that my oxygen levels run low naturally. So, anyways, got 17 knots of crosswind today. Went out of this way. I wasn't quite sure if I was going to be able to make it at 17 on my way out here to Moonbill from Wewak, because I was seeing all these clouds like way out in that area, but those ones were quite a bit further out, so it looks like I should be able to make it all the way back at 17 really nice without having to go IMC at all. And the reason why I basically am saying this is because our freezing level here is right around 14,000. Well, not freezing level, but once I start getting into icing conditions where it's maybe +5 to -5 is really the only range that we would actually have here in Papua New Guinea. It's because we are close to the equator. The temperatures are exactly the same nearly every single day. So for us, really starting into the 14,000 up to 18,000 is where we're going to get icing. So, and really if we're going to be going through any IMC conditions, we're going through clouds, there's going to be moisture in those clouds, and that's usually when icing will start building. So typically, don't get icing really, really fast if it's just going through clouds and whatnot, unless there's actually rain and whatnot in there. But all we have is pitot heats on this airplane, so it's not rated for icing and stuff, so we really have to stay out of it as much as we possibly can. So, all right, that chimes just let me know now that I'm below 5 degrees Celsius, so I'll flip on my pitot heats. Even though it's a really nice day, I do it every time it does that because throughout the flight, you might forget to turn it on if you are going IMC or you do go through some moisture. So it's better just to flip it on and not have to think about it, not worry about it, and then just flip it off on our descent back into Goroka.
November Tango Kilo, Mospin.
November Tango Kilo, go ahead.
November Tango Kilo, request your level and destination.
Passing 16,000 on climb 17,000. Amended destination, Goroka. November Tango Kilo.
November Tango Kilo. HF 8819er.
8819er, November Tango Kilo. That's what she just gave me as a HF frequency, in case I can't get a hold of her on VHF. Right, that chime just let me know I'm just 200 feet before my 17,000. As you can see, I've got my ITT right up here at 7, as close as I can get to 720, and my prop's still at 2,000 RPM. All right, there's 17,000, and once our airspeed gets up to around 117, 118 or so, we're gonna pull the power lever here back. That's gonna bring our ITT right up to 700. So pretty much anytime we're over like 12 or 13,000 feet, we're gonna be flying with our ITT at 700 instead of our torque of 1250. All right, we are approaching Mount Hoggin's airspace. Let me throw their airspace on so you guys can see it. Sort of. That little light ring around there. Right there. So, yeah, we're going to be calling up Mount Hoggin once we get into the Tomba Gap. We'll be flying basically like that, and then on down the Wagi Valley on down to Goroka. We got about 40 minutes left of the flight, about 38 minutes left to go.
November Tango Kilo Mossby.
November Tango Kilo, go ahead.
November Tango Kilo, traffic is Alpha Tango Foxtrot, Mossby for Hagen. We'll be on descent for 18,000, ready good for arrival. Estimating over Chimbo 37.
Copy Alpha Tango Foxtrot, November Tango Kilo.
November Tango Kilo, contact Hagen Tower now on 120.5.
120.5 now, November Tango Kilo. Right, we'll show where the other guy is coming in, but basically, yeah, we'll look at that in a minute. Let me call up Tower. We're a little bit further out. Hagen Tower, November Tango Kilo.
November Tango Kilo, Hagen Tower, go ahead.
Good morning, November Tango Kilo. 10 miles to run, Tomba Gap, 17,000. Estimating Tomba Gap 37. Estimating overhead Mount Hoggin 43.
November Tango Kilo. Hagen QNH is 1019. Report again overhead.
1019 report again overhead, November Tango Kilo. Right, so the other guy that's Alpha Tango Foxtrot, he's doing the Gukpu arrival and basically flies down the Wagi Valley. So let me just get some of this stuff off so you guys can see a little bit easier. Basically, he's coming in this way and then curving in that way. So he started at 19,000 way out here. Actually, he'll probably start his descent about there. So he'll probably be underneath of me by the time I actually get there at 17,000. But just looking out there over top of the Wagi Valley, it looks like they have some low landing clouds. Goroka looks like it's nice weather on top of it. You can see Mount Wilhelm, just the peaks of it out there. That's at 15,000 feet nearly. So I'm just going to go ahead and set up my descent right now. Because it's so nice out, I can hold my altitude for as long as I really want to. So we're going to come on down here to Goroka.
Tango Kilo, Alpha Tango Foxtrot, 1205. November Tango Kilo, Alpha Tango.
Yeah, November Tango Kilo, currently 17,000 and 18 miles to run Mount Hoggin from the west.
Alpha Tango Foxtrot, copy that. We're coming in Hagen from the east, from the Alpha Project of Bravo. 18,000. We should be descending over Yabao. You happy for us to carry on now?
Affirmative, and my estimate over top of Hoggin is 43.
Alpha Tango Foxtrot, roger. We'll be Yabao at 3 and 9 now, so we'll be starting our descent at Yabao.
Thank you. And so for our descent down into Goroka, we'll come down here to Goroka. I'll put in basically what I want to turn base at, 5,800 feet. I can even do turbo final.
Tango Kilo, Kilo 0 Alpha.
Kilo Sierra Alpha, November 10 Kilo.
Yeah, we're just leaving 17,000 with 23 to the west of Hagen.
Alright, I'm 17,000 and 15 miles to the west Hagen. Estimating overhead 43.
Yeah, you're just confirm you're overflying, right?
Affirmative.
Okay, thanks. We've 316.5 on the descent now.
Good day. Alright, so he's behind me right now, leaving 17,000 on his descent. Just coming on down here, all the way down to my vertical speed. And we can come down at 1,000 feet per minute. I don't have anybody on board today. We can even come back down faster if we wanted to.
November Tango Kilo, confirm copy additional traffic on Alpha November Kilo.
Negative, do not copy Alpha November Kilo. Go ahead.
November Tango Kilo, Alpha November Kilo, they say must be for Hagen. Over group 232, flight level 220. Estimate Hagen 52, Bedek advise he'll be inbound on the RNF approach.
Copy Alpha November Kilo. November Kilo.
November Tango Kilo, contact must be 120.1, no contact 65908, 15 to the east.
120.16598, 15 miles east, November Tango Kilo. Right, there's 15 miles, so let's call up Moresby again. Moresby 120.1, November Tango Kilo transfer.
November Tango Kilo, Moresby Caravan.
November Tango Kilo, 15 miles east Hagen, 17,000 shortly on descent. Circuit Goroka 10.
November Tango Kilo, standby for traffic.
And November Tango Kilo copies Alpha Tango Kilo, or Alpha November Kilo. Alright, I'm going to help.
November Tango Kilo, no additional reported traffic.
Today. November Kilo. Right, so I'm going to head out this way a little bit.
Additional reported traffic and contact Goroka Tower at 15 miles, Goroka.
Contact Goroka Tower 15 miles, November Tango Kilo. So we have Mount Wilhelm over here, and the clouds that come out here, they usually kind of spill out over and top like this. Okay, so that's where the clouds are. So I'm going to have to kind of come over here a little bit and then kind of go into Goroka. So I'm going to start my descent heading out over that way. It looks like actually the clouds are a little bit lower over there, so I'll just keep my altitude for as long as I possibly can, and then I'll descend down. I'll be landing with 345 pounds, so 320 pounds is 1 hour, and that's what I'm required from our company. SOPs is I have to be landing with 320, so I'm just going to hold my altitude for as long as I can, and that way, in case I have to do any flying around in the valley, whatnot, around traffic or holding or whatever else, I got a weather report saying the weather's beautiful there, so no dramas on that. And all stations, Goroka area 120.1, November Tango Kilo 30 miles to the west, Goroka 17,000, now on descent, estimating Goroka 10.
Top of the traffic will remain below 90,000.
November Kilo. And just about overhead, Chemby with this time.
Roger.
Right, so the clouds are a little bit lower than what I was thinking, so this is our top of descent, so I'm just going to go ahead and start going down, crest over top of these ones, and then continue on my descent from there. So I'll probably just do 500 feet per minute. I think that's going to give me a pretty decent altitude just to go just over top of them and then get on down in there. The helicopter is over in that area somewhere right now. Alright, so I'm going to go turn my altitude select all the way down to turning final 5,600 feet, and then we'll call up tower once we get within 15 miles of them.
November Tango Kilo, Moresby.
November Tango Kilo, go ahead.
November Tango Kilo, traffic is Bravo Kilo Charlie, Kilo for Goroka, not above 9,000, Goroka estimate 12.
Copy, Bravo Kilo Charlie, November Tango Kilo. Alright, now that we're just going to be able to crest these, I'm just going to go ahead and start my descent even more, probably, I'm guessing 12 or 1,300 feet to get me down to where I need to be. It's nice because we have this little blue line right here, and it's going to show me exactly when I'm going to arrive at whatever altitude I have set up in here. So it's going to take me 1,300 feet. It really takes all the guesswork out of it and all the math. I used to have to do everything with math when I flew the GA8. I know your descent profiles, but this is so much easier and quicker. Actually, it looks like 1,400 feet. As we speed up, our airspeed is going to increase. I might have to continue to increase my descent angle or my descent as well, just because as the airspeed increases, now I'm going faster, so I have to kind of keep up with that. But it looks like so far 1,400 feet. I'll probably have to go to 1,500 feet because as my speed increases up. Starter checklist. Selectors and brakes are good. We'll leave our TAWs enabled for now, or VREF. Just our approach speed. We're at 5,000 pounds, so it looks like 60 to 61 at the slowest. I don't need to come in that slow today, but our lights and inlet, we'll throw our lights on, we'll turn our pitot heat off. Now it's still 3 degrees out. We're going down. We'll do our inlet as we start slowing down below 140. If we do need to go around for any reason, it's power up 20 degrees of flaps, pitch for 73 knots, and maneuver is required to reset our ITT to 740. Looks like we're going to be heading through the the water bunk gap. That way we can tell him kind of where we're coming from. Rogue Tower, November, Tango Kilo.
Tango Kilo, target.
Morning, November, Tango Kilo, 15 miles to the west, passing 12,000 on descent, tracking for the water bunk. Your circuit, 08, copy traffic, Bravo, Kilo, Charlie.
November, Tango Kilo, confirm estimate.
Estimate 08, November, Tango Kilo.
Tango Kilo, 35 right, runway, QNH 1018. Way to join at left base, report on base.
1018, track report, left base, 35 right, November, Tango Kilo. Alright, we're 5 miles out, we're going 160 knots. I'm just going to go ahead and pull my power back, push my prop forward. Got a plane that's just taking off now, he's just lifted off over the end of the numbers. So I can start slowing down, enter my base at a reasonable speed. There's 140 knots. We'll do engine inlet to bypass. Top and harness is done. Flaps and SAR to go. Rogue Tower, November, Tango Kilo, entering left base, 35 right. Have departing traffic in sight.
November, Tango Kilo. 35 right, clear to land.
Clear to land, 35 right, November, Tango Kilo. Alright, there's under 120, 20 degrees of flaps. And we want to turn final at 5,600. I'm still a little bit high. Actually a lot high. Alright, there's full flaps. Checklist is complete.
500.
And turning final.
Alpha Nova Mike, departed Goroka 08. We're passing 8,500 on climb on 3,004. NAVZEP via Camp 2. Estimated NAVZEP 32.
It looks like I have some birds around the 500-foot marker. I'm just going to try to land a little bit sooner. Circling around. He's going off to the side now, that's good. I always let it roll out and I didn't do any reverse today. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. I sure do appreciate it. If you guys did enjoy it, leave a comment down below. Give it a thumbs up if you thought it was worthy of a thumbs up. And welcome to Goroka. Alright, get my fuel. Landed with 350. Perfect. And our hubs. Alright, shutdown, we already have everything off, but turn landing light off, and our taxi light off, I should say, and all of our generator and alternators. Alright guys, thanks again for taking the time to watch, and have a good one.